So what's basic and simple for you is a mind-blowing thing for someone else. I always imagine myself as being that important woman in high heels, pencil skirts, in the big office, and just really living the corporate life. And it never happened for me. I started my business by accident, just by starting my personal brand on LinkedIn.
I do think that like go big or go home mentality, I think is such a common thing for people. Do you kind of have a system for how you've been able to stay so consistent without burning out?
Yes. So
welcome back to Founders in Jeans. I'm your host, Emily Jean. And before we get into the episode, I just want to say a huge thank you so much for listening to my podcast. It means the world to me. I also wanted to say that if you enjoy the show, feel free to leave a review on Spotify or Apple, wherever you're listening to this, and also to follow us. You can follow us on Spotify, of course. You can follow us on Instagram at Founders in Jeans. You can also find me on Instagram at emily.jeans, or you can look me up on LinkedIn. I'm always happy to connect with people on there, and I have a lot of good conversations from listeners. Also, you can always leave a bad review for us. I'm totally fine with that. And in fact, I think that's exciting. I would love to know what we can do to improve. So you can also leave comments below and let me know what you enjoyed, what you didn't enjoy. I actually do read every single one. We also have a newsletter that comes out once a week, so you can get all the updates from us. We also put in some weekly business and marketing updates in there, as well as some personal notes from me. You can subscribe to that on my LinkedIn, also through the Instagram and in the show notes below. Anyways, that is all from me. I'm so excited for you to listen to this episode. I hope it's a good one, and I'll chat to you soon. Bye. Viktoria Jancurova of VJ Personal Branding. Welcome to Founders in Jeans. I am so excited to chat to you today. We've been kind of going back and forth on LinkedIn for a while, and I know you're going to talk a lot about LinkedIn in this episode, which I'm really excited about. But for people who don't know you, why don't you give a little bit of a background about yourself?
of course, I'd love to. And hello, Emily. Super amazing to see you here. So excited for this recording. So for those who don't know me yet, I am Viktoria, as you introduced me, and I am a LinkedIn personal brand strategist and developer. Now, what does that mean? It means that I work with my clients and we help them really show up on LinkedIn as themselves and build a personal brand. And we do this either by helping them, so done with you, which in other words, coaching. But most of our clients choose the done for you option, where they come to us, we take care of their accounts and we do everything for them. So anything from content, connections, comments, all of it, everything that you would do on LinkedIn, we just do it for them. So yeah, that's about me and what we do.
Yeah. So I know outside of the background you just gave me about yourself, I have a little bio that you have published over 1,000 posts on LinkedIn. That is amazing, a huge accomplishment. Is that your own personal posts or does that include client posts?
So my first post went live on my birthday, actually in 2022.
Wow.
So it was February 2022. And I've been keeping a consistent appearance on LinkedIn ever since then. So I think at this point, there is more than 1,000 posts on my personal profile alone.
Mhm.
But it was meant to be 1,000 posts for clients, right? So we work with multiple clients and publish content for them. So yeah.
So that is obviously a lot of posts. Can you, I guess, point out for me to start off with, like, what is the biggest pattern that you've learned about in terms of making content work on LinkedIn?
Absolutely. So when you say pattern, you mean like what works on LinkedIn, right? How you can identify a post that works and those that won't work. Yeah.
Mhm.
So on post alone, so if we're talking content alone without any other activity on LinkedIn, the post needs to speak directly to your target audience, right? So you need to be super clear on who you're talking to. And of course, this goes to for anything in marketing. If you don't know who you're talking to and if you don't know your audience inside out, it's going to be really hard to write content for them.
Mhm.
Because if you write content of like, hi, look at me, this is what I do, and this is about me, and this is about our product or our service, you're putting yourself on a pedestal and you're just talking me, 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 me. Versus when your content starts feeling like a conversation, like, oh, this is for you, and I've created this for you, and this is how we can help you, and this is why you
Mhm.
need our help, right? It starts feeling like a conversation, and that's when it starts to resonate with people on the other side, so your target audience. So content alone, it's talk to the people rather than talk about yourself, right? Try to think how your content can be relevant for them and why should they care? That's my favorite question actually on LinkedIn. Why should they care?
Mm.
If someone reads your post and thinks, okay, and what? Then you know you didn't do a good job on writing your post.
Yeah.
But if there is something there's a, oh yeah, that's interesting. I see what you mean there.
Mm.
That's when you have an amazing content.
What would you say is the most common thing that CEOs or founders get wrong about LinkedIn?
So if we're talking CEOs or founders who, it's usually those that have been running their businesses for a little while now and they are established in their industry, they feel this immense pressure of, I always have to say something with so much value that I'm
Mm.
gonna blow their socks off. Like, it has to be that.
Mm.
Otherwise, I'm better just shut up and don't say anything. And that's a mistake because when that happens is that they post maybe once a week. If we are
Right.
lucky, maybe it's once a month. And it's a post that is just so overwhelming
Right.
that only 30% of the audience actually makes it to the end. And it's the 30% that are friends or employees or people they know. And yeah, it doesn't really lead anywhere.
Mhm.
So that's that big mistake is basically just thinking like, oh, I have to show everything. It's like go big or go home. That's the one.
Mhm.
That's what I was looking for to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that just stops them. And the second thing is also feeling like, oh, when I start showing up for myself and I start building my personal brand, why do they care? I'm just showing off. And they have
Mm.
this belief that they're just showing off and it's not going to help anyone. And they
Mm.
don't realize that for them, what's the most simple thing for you as a person is probably you have your business around that. So probably it's something that someone else struggles with. And
Right.
I can't count how many conversations I had with people that's like, it's the most basic thing that everyone knows. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know that. And if I
Yeah.
don't know that, probably other hundreds of people don't know that. So what's
Mhm.
basic and simple for you is a mind blowing thing for someone else.
Yeah. Also, I love going back to your earlier point. I do think that like go big or go home mentality, when it comes to any kind of form of content creation, even building a business, I think is such a common thing for people. And it's also interesting to me because you actually can't make like the perfect post until you've tried a bunch of times. So
Oh,
it's
yeah,
like
this
it's an endless loop.
yeah. This actually it's so funny because when I started LinkedIn, right, it was super common to go viral as soon as someone introduced themselves. Yeah, we're talking 2022, LinkedIn was we're
Yeah.
delighted to announce or a few people that actually were brave enough to start building
Mhm.
their personal brand there. And yeah, the moment someone introduced themselves, they literally just say, hey, this is about me and so on. And their post would go like super viral.
Right.
And I know actually quite a few people that got so scared after posting their first post that they were like, whoppa, no, I'm gone. I'm not
Too
posting on
much.
LinkedIn anymore. Yeah, too much visibility. So that's one thing. And to add to what you said, I am 3 years into writing content on LinkedIn, and I
Mhm.
still don't think I would have the confidence to tell you this is the perfect post.
Mm.
And
Mhm.
nothing can go better in here. And I wrote way more than 1,000 posts out with generating more than a million of views
Mhm.
across client profiles, six-figure pipelines for clients. And I still don't have the confidence to tell you this is the perfect post. Nothing can go better here.
Right.
Because there's
Right.
always something that can be changed, always something that can go better. Always it will resonate maybe with one person,
Mhm.
And the other person, even though if they're your ideal client, so like ICP or target audience you're speaking to, there
Mhm.
might be just a word that will resonate with one person more than the
Right. 100%. There's always more to learn.
always.
Always. So obviously you have been capable of helping people build personal brands that not only are representative of themselves, but also attract high paying clients. What would you say is kind of like the first step in that process
In attracting clients.
in terms of building a personal brand that helps attract high paying clients?
Okay, so if we are talking in general, what's your first thing that you should do? It should be your clarity around your offer and your target audience, right? So this is more general. You need to know what you're offering exactly. It's all the bonuses, all the pros and cons. You need to know your offer inside out. And equally, you need to know your target audience, right? So who you're speaking to, who are the people, you should have spoken to them at some point as well, or you should try to speak to them. So you really know what needs to be said, right? What are the people like, and so on. But now if we're talking LinkedIn specifically,
Mhm.
I think you should start always with your profile. Have a look at your profile. Is it optimized? Is it clear what you do? Right? So we're coming to the offer. Is it clear what you're offering? Is it clear who are you offering it for? Who is the offer for? Right? So can your target audience identify themselves in your profile? So if I land on your profile, do I know exactly that you can help me if I fall into your audience? Or do I feel like, okay, I'm still a bit not sure what's going on here?
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
and also in your profile, make sure that you have a clear next step. Then your featured section, buttons that they can click, maybe freebies if they need to be nurtured further. But your profile is step one. And then
Mhm.
you can focus on the content and you can focus on the comment and
Mhm.
all the lovely bits and pieces there on LinkedIn.
Yeah. I I think when people are going to hear 1,000 posts, they're going to get a little bit overwhelmed with what that means for themselves. Do you kind of have a system for how you've been able to stay so consistent without burning out?
Yes. Yes. So what I do for my personal profile, of course, I write all the content for my profile myself. The first thing I try to do is I try to look at the month or quarter ahead and see what's going on. I literally have a paper right now next to me that I was sitting on yesterday morning and just brainstorming, okay, September ends soon. What are we going to do in quarter four? What needs to happen? And all the details, right? So I like to zoom out first. And then I like to identify, okay, for example, quarter four, we're going to take this as like a particular thing. We have Black Friday coming up. We have Christmas coming up. So you have to plan for that as well. And there might be something as well that maybe I want to go through a lounge or maybe I want to do a special offer, right? So I map out this first. And I do the same process for clients.
Mhm.
And then I zoom in. Then I start zooming in. Okay, what content do I need for October? Is there a lounge? If there is a lounge, then I start allocating some topics
Mhm.
to that. In November, is there something again happening? For example, the Black Friday, 2 weeks I'm gonna be in sales language, right? So I need to think about topics for that and what exactly am I gonna be launching. Christmas, probably I'm gonna be winding down, so content can be more relaxed. So that's in the bigger spectrum, and I like to plan ahead. And
Mhm.
then this is what I would do in one day. Another day I would sit with the content and I would just start typing different content ideas without expanding on them, just topics I can write about, titles, right?
Mhm.
Again, I would leave that for another day. And then the next day, I would start expanding on that. If I
Mhm.
had the time, for example, if I have a day when I have no meetings, I can spend the whole day just creating content and I can get as much as a month of content ahead just done.
Mhm. Mhm.
Sometimes I don't have as much time, so I do a week ahead, two
Right.
weeks ahead. But with this system of just sitting down, looking at the quarter, zooming out, and then zooming in, you're like, okay, I actually know what's happening and I know what I need to talk about. And you're adding a bit of strategy to that. You're not just going blindly of like, today I feel like talking about. X, and tomorrow I feel like talking about Y. And
Mhm.
then suddenly you're on the third day and you're like, oh, today I don't know what I'm talking
I love hearing people's different systems and how they work out their content creation process because I think it seems from the outside kind of can come across like all natural, off the tongue. Is that the word? Off the tongue, off the cheek, whatever. Easy peasy though. And I think for most people who are successful on LinkedIn, they have a really built out strategy behind it.
And what I will say about this as well is like think that my job is creating content and make sure that clients have content created and everything surrounds around the output.
Mhm,
But when you want to create really good content and when your responsibility is just creating your own content,
mhm,
and a great way to think about it is, okay, when can I have some input? So podcasts, just like this one where you can
mhm,
learn. Maybe you have YouTube videos. Maybe you just want to go out in the nature when the idea comes. So that's your input where you let your brain just absorb like a sponge. And then you do it one time for your own content only. And you
mhm.
have the output time. For me, obviously, my system is a lot more robust than for someone else who just needs to think about writing their own content.
Right.
So don't get too scared when I say
Mhm.
my really robust content plan that goes across 3 days. It
Right.
doesn't have to be that way. It's just for me, it has to be that way because I am always in the output production.
Absolutely. I think for people who are not convinced yet on the value
Yeah.
of LinkedIn for their business, can you maybe speak to how LinkedIn has been helpful for you, especially including like, you know, things outside of just gaining clients?
Absolutely. So I will start with my beginning.
Mhm,
And that is, I started my business by accident. I started my business during university time when it was just after COVID, 2022. There were very few jobs available. I was in the third year out of my fourth year university degree. Really wanted to get into a job that I can start practicing what I was learning. And I wanted to be in the business scene. I always imagined myself as being that important woman in high heels, pencil skirts, in the big office, and just really living the corporate life. And it
yeah.
never happened for me. So I started my business by accident just by starting my personal brand on LinkedIn. So that is the first thing, right? Then, apart from just getting clients directly, I was invited to speak in really big stages. So I spoke at South Summit this year, and that was in June in
Mm,
Madrid. I then later in a month of June, I flew to Barcelona to speak at another event. I spoke in an event in London. I got invited to speak in front of university graduates at my old university. Literally yesterday, I had a call and I was invited to speak at an event in Bulgaria,
mm,
which is happening later this year. So I'm super excited for that. Apart from speaking, I also had brands reaching out to me for paid collaborations. So I actually wrote posts that were sponsored by brands,
mhm.
and I could very carefully pick what brands I want to work with and which I didn't. I actually had the option to say no, I don't want to work with this brand. This is not what I stand for. Felt just so empowering as well.
Mhm,
Another thing I will say is building your personal brand, you start getting to know yourself on levels you maybe haven't thought about.
hmm,
And not just yourself, but also what you do, because you start thinking about, okay, how can I provide more value? How can I explain this to my target audience? Or what questions do I get from my target audience? And maybe
mm.
you haven't thought about the questions that you get. And it's just so exciting because you suddenly are like, oh yeah, like I haven't thought about this, but it's so true and I can write about that. Or, okay, this is about me. And yeah, so there is that personal element of building your personal brand as well, that you just do things you wouldn't expect of doing.
Yeah. And I love all those accomplishments, like, so special, and you're so young, obviously, being able to do all of that. Is
Okay.
there something that excites you the most about where your LinkedIn work is heading next?
What excites me the most about where my LinkedIn work is heading next, I think it's just the excitement of the unknown at this
Mm.
point, because after all, it's a platform I don't own and my clients don't own.
Mhm,
It's something that can change overnight. Like we've seen recently, they've added a video feed, they took it away.
mhm,
They add features and they take them away. And it's just, you don't know where it's going to go. And that's why you just have to evolve with the platform. Don't get too hung up of like, what is the most trending thing right now for the algorithm?
mm.
Because in the next month, it's going to change again. So just honing in really on the basics and diving down. Okay, what is the base foundational thing that we need to do? And then maybe do a few experiments every now and then with the algorithm.
Yeah. What's the next experiment then you're trying on LinkedIn then?
Yeah. Um, I think it just comes back to what I said earlier, and that's stripping everything down to the basics. Because I've
Mm,
been on LinkedIn for a while now, and obviously I learned a few things, but now I just want to see how much we can simplify to then start learning again the new things that are happening
mhm,
right now. So I
mhm.
think it's that stripping down to the basics and then adding on top of that something new.
For people that are worried about putting all their eggs in the LinkedIn basket,
Mhm.
what has been your ideology or I guess process around building IP outside of LinkedIn?
Okay. So here I will say one thing, and that is my recommendation is always to nail at least one platform
Mhm,
before you decide to diversify and go into many others. And
mhm,
there's a reason for that. Unless you are a super creative, natural talent in creating content, you will get tired because Instagram boosts one type of content. LinkedIn requires something else. TikTok, something else. YouTube, something else, right? And it is a tiring process. There is an overlap,
mhm,
definitely. But until you find, unless you really are into social media and you know the platforms inside out and you understand them, it's really hard to find the overlap at the beginning. So you just feel like you always have to create something new. And because of that, I always say choose one platform where you know that your target audience is and that you enjoy. Is it LinkedIn? Amazing. You know that your ICP is there. You know that you want to spend time there. You enjoy being there. Go there. Nail it. Then, okay, you want to go on TikTok? Go ahead, go on TikTok. Then you want to
mhm.
do YouTube? Do that. But choose one and then start diversification in somewhere else. I can recommend my favorite platform. I wouldn't dare. If you tell me what your business is and I feel like, yeah, LinkedIn is the right platform for you, of course I'll tell you. But if you tell me that your target audience is someone, consumers, they're consumers, they are B2C market, so they're looking for clients, not for businesses. They're selling a product that is a beauty product, for example, and so on. And they're looking for the platform to start promoting themselves on. And they don't
Mhm.
want any investors either or anything like that. They just want to sell their product. Probably don't go on LinkedIn because maybe it's not the perfect platform for you. And
Right.
Instagram is way more visual for that, or TikTok, right?
Mhm.
So think about that. Who are you targeting?
Yeah. I want to do some rapid fires before we wrap up. Is that okay
Of
with you?
course. Of
Okay.
course.
Great. All right. My first question is, what is the most underrated LinkedIn feature?
So I have two. One
Mhm,
is the featured section in the profile. People really either don't have it or they just publish their most popular posts. And my recommendation is to make sure you have actual actionable items there. Provide more value by adding some freebies, articles you wrote, videos you have somewhere. Um, Also, way to book a call with you, right? So, featured section is one.
mhm,
Second one is the inbox. The most simple thing, but the people ignore their DMs and they really are scared to talk to people, which
mm,
eight out of 10 times people are nice on LinkedIn,
mhm,
Obviously don't pitch slap them. in the first message. But if you actually talk to people, like we met in LinkedIn DMs, and it was
Yes.
actually a nice conversation we had.
Hmm.
So yeah, don't be scared of talking to people in your DMs.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. The DMs are not the same on LinkedIn that they are on Instagram at all.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Okay, what do you think is a LinkedIn content cliche that needs to disappear?
Comments written by AI because you just
Mm,
want to be present. It's actually hurting your brand rather than boosting it in any way.
right.
Outreach. Oh, this is one big one. Outreach done by AI. I
Hmm.
am all for outreach. I understand why people do cold outreach. Don't have any problems with that. I respect it.
Yeah,
But if you send me 11 AI generated messages because I don't reply to the first one,
right.
then I do have a bit of a problem and you are gonna get blocked.
I love that.
So yeah, the AI, just use AI with a little bit of, how would I say it? Sense check yourself when you use it. AI is a
Hmm.
great tool, but don't make it do your job because it's gonna hurt you rather than help you.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you have a go-to post format when you're short on time?
When I'm really short on time, usually what I do is I go to my content calendar. So I store all my content in Notion
Mhm,
before it goes live. I search post that is 4+ months old and that I liked and that I feel like still can bring value and still is relevant.
mhm,
And I copy it, paste it, and I post it without thinking about it. If I don't have time, this is what I do.
good.
I recycle. Other option is writing a text format that is something short and on point, right?
Mhm,
And a third option can be even a poll, right? If you have something that you want to ask your audience and you want some feedback, then running a poll on LinkedIn is a great idea too.
yeah, love that. Do you have any advice for someone who might be posting on LinkedIn for the first time?
Yes. And that is, don't think about the people who are going to laugh at you or who are going to, it's usually people that you
Mhm,
are most afraid of, but they are not relevant to you, right? They are not the people who are going to buy from you. You're just so scared of what people are going to think about you that
right,
you let it hold you back.
right.
So don't do that. Just post it. Just
Yeah,
post it. Post it. I remember when I posted my first post, I posted it, got out of LinkedIn, put my phone in flight mode, and I didn't touch it for like 2 hours.
yeah. Good, good. I love that. I
So
think
do
that's
that.
very
If
good
you need to
advice.
do it, yeah, do that. And
Yeah,
do not delete that post. Just let it and then do another one and start
yeah.
building because the people, this is what happened to me. The people who are going to laugh at you for building your personal brand are going to be those who are going to come back to you like months later.
Okay, my last question for you. Do you have a course or a book or a resource that you can recommend to budding entrepreneurs?
So if you mean my resource, I don't have a course, but I
Mhm,
do have a resource, which is a profile optimization toolkit.
mhm,
So if you wanted to start at your profile, I do have a resource that goes into detail with examples, with everything, how you can do it, what to do, what not to do. So if you DM me profile toolkit, I'll share it with the audience. So on LinkedIn or Instagram.
mhm,
I also have 8 high-performing content templates if you're stuck on what to write and not sure what to do in the sales cycles, how to talk about your offer, or how to just do a content that feels lighthearted. There is 8
mhm.
templates that people can use as well, and that's available in my featured section on LinkedIn.
Yeah, got it. Well, great. That's such a good resource. I'm so glad people will be able to access that. Victoria, thank you so much for joining me. I'm so glad that I got to chat to you. Obviously, I've seen all your posts on LinkedIn. I think you are incredibly educational and people should absolutely follow you. Where can people connect with you?
Thank you so much for having me. And yeah, if you want to connect with me, I am on Instagram under Vicky J.
Mhm.
Or you can find me on LinkedIn, where I spend most of my time, and that's Viktoria Jancurova.
Great.
So yeah.
And that will all be in the show notes as well. But yeah, thank you so much, Victoria. This has been a great conversation.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed it. And I hope everything we discussed is going to be helpful. And if anyone has any further questions or would like the resources we talk about, you can always reach out to me. I'm always open to DMs. Please use them, even if you just want to practice.
Yeah,
Yeah, hope to see you soon.
absolutely.